got three houses. I got three houses. I got three more houses.
Lucky.
What's up, big boy?
Oh no, we're starting again.
No, we're not.
You just
Why?
referred to me as big boy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Uh-huh.
How
Okay.
you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little sleepy. It's been a busy work day for me. And I've been getting ready. I'm going away this weekend, so I've been getting ready for that.
Where you going?
I'm going to Amsterdam.
Ooh.
It is my dear friend James's birthday.
And he's in Amsterdam, isn't he?
Yeah, well, it's his birthday today, actually, technically. But we're going out to see him for the weekend.
Rad.
Cycle and stuff. How about yourself?
Yeah, I haven't got much plans. Just got bits here and there, But I've just been playing loads of League recently.
Oh, yeah?
Some really good worlds.
We should probably
Holy shit.
set up a weekly Locky League update segment to the
Oh
podcast.
man, today was literally one of the best days in competitive League of Legends history.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
In what
My
way?
boys who I support, this is the second week of group stages, went 0-3 last week.
Mm-hmm.
Doomed. Started off today losing their first game, went 0-4. Terrible. Then proceeded to win the next two games, and another team won all their games. So in a crazy turn of events, it ended up in a three-way tiebreaker, and they won that three-way tiebreaker and moved on to the quarterfinals, which is insane after going 0-3 in week one.
Oh, you're saying 0-3.
Yeah.
I was like, who's 0-3? Anyway, good.
Anyway,
I'm glad they
unreal.
won.
It was such a good morning.
That's good. That's what you need in the morning, I guess. So it's time played 3HR. That's what this podcast's called, and it's you and me. And
What up?
And this week we are talking about the legendary, the
Original
wonderful, the
Mirror's
beautiful
Edge.
Original Mirror's Edge.
Woo!
A game that you and I have deep fondness for. And I have to fess up to one thing. And it's a pretty big fess.
You haven't played anymore?
I haven't played anymore.
That's fine.
Okay. But I watched about an hour's worth of gameplay while I was working, just on my screen.
Okay.
So I feel like I have a pretty good...
I mean, it was your week. I didn't have to play it anyway.
Oh, I see.
Even though it was sort of suggested that I would, as it was like a sort of a joint game.
Yeah, I mean, we probably should be doing our job, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
I agree.
So I guess that what I wanted to ask you first is, if you can, describe what it is you love about the original Mirror's Edge.
It's just really fun. It was one of the first PS3 games I got. So it was a big change in that era, in the fact that I got it on the day we got a PS3, and I was just super hyped for it. So I think
amazing.
anything I'd played at that time would have been seen in a super positive light.
Yeah.
That and BioShock.
God damn, that's a good day.
And Wally.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
The third in that famous trio, BioShock, Mirror's Edge, and Wall-E.
So I didn't even buy this PS3, it was my brother. My half-brother who was living with us at the time. He went out, bought a PS3, and was like, are there any games you want? And I was like, yes, Mirror's Edge. And I had a 360 at this time. I had an Xbox. And so this was my first game where I was like, okay, you know what? Forget Xbox. I want the Mirror's Edge on PS3. And he decided to bring back BioShock and Wall-E for me as well.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wall-E not so much, but the BioShock and the Mirror's Edge is pretty darn good.
Really juicy.
Man, I remember you getting a PS3. I was pumped when you got a PS3 because I was like the only person I knew with a PlayStation.
Yeah, it was you and Sean,
Yeah, Sean.
which weirdly was like the first person.
Sean, who had the greatest username of all time.
What
I
was
seem to
it?
recall. It was just like Crazy Boy. It was like it's like
I
Crazy
thought-
Boy 94 or something like
I
that.
swear it was just like Sean.
No, it was one slightly worse than just his name.
Anyway, it was hilarious because he played. I remember getting around to his house pretty soon after he got one because I was like, I want to go and play PS3.
No, dude, I remember it. It was
One mad guy.
yeah,
One
one mad guy.
was it? One mad guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, good stuff.
One
Adam, go
mad
add
guy.
Sean.
Huh?
Go add Sean, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of those sad ones where it's like hasn't.
Hasn't been touched
I
in
don't
3
even
years.
think it mentions the time that they've not played for anymore because they've realised it's just too hard hitting.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, I remember wanting to get around to his house ASAP after he got on. I got to his house. He had what's it fucking called? Elder Scrolls. What's it called?
Oblivion.
Oblivion. And he plugged his PS3 into this TV from like the 80s.
As you did.
I'm not even kidding. I was so excited to play it, and he played it on this tiny box screen, which must have, square ratio, whatever it is.
4x3.
And it literally just looked terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. It killed me a little, but
Well, I feel like because I definitely played a PS3 on a standard definition television for a few years before the house, like my mum got a HD TV. And it's funny. It was funny. Like I struggled to see the difference the first time I plugged it into an HD
so
TV.
insane, isn't it?
Isn't that crazy? And then
It's
it's
so
like now I like go back
insane.
and it's like holy balls.
It's insane the way that works. It's the same with PS4, PS3 change.
Yeah. I remember like playing Grand Theft Auto on like just like I had this very, very small. It's just like children like me, like privileged children like me, got like these TVs that were very small and square, and usually took VHS tapes, and you can sort of picture it in your mind. It's just like a silver thing, and and like I just remember playing Grand Theft Auto 4 on that, and like the text in the menus was just impossible to read.
No chance.
It was just like weenie. Anyway, Mirror's Edge came out in around like 2008. So we were like 13, 14.
Wow, yeah, like
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
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 Basically. I don't remember. It was one of those, 7 or 8. I think Bioshock came out in 7. Anyway, it came out. You got it. You played it. It sort of, for me, and I guess for you, it just hit so many of those things that I liked, I guess. It just like, it was all those, it was just like, there was a period in my life where I thought free running was incredibly cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was when we were running around the playground.
Yeah, jumping off things.
Like, just absolute all over the place. Just, the bell would ring and there'd be this big like bush and be like, all right, let's see who can jump over this.
Yep.
Or, okay, let's see who can jump over this wall and then jump back up this wall.
Jumping bushes. That was us. Yeah, that's all we did every lunch. And yeah, it was just cool. It just looked cool. It looked different. That you played as like this cool Asian lady, like, and then she had toe shoes on, and it was just like it turned out to be everything. At least what I thought from seeing like trailers and stuff. Also, it's weird to think about it because this was at a time when I wasn't really paying attention to like gaming media or press. Like I
swear you were on Daily Fix at this point.
No, this was pre Daily Fix. This was pre like IGN, looking at IGN every day.
Jessica Chobot.
Just like getting my daily gaming news. I discovered that was a thing, and was hooked on that. This was like before that, so I must have learnt about Mirror's Edge like from the cover of a magazine. and it's and you know
Which
it's,
is insane as well.
well, it's crazy. It's crazy because the game looks so sort of iconic, and it's very easily identifiable because it's just those two colors, just white and red. And it's amazing just like how eye-catching I guess that was at the time, because it's not like I was playing at that time every game that came out, or I knew that every game that was coming out. And same for you, but somehow we were both drawn to this game that in the end didn't really sell well or do particularly well.
Which is insane because I still think like it's one of the best looking games stylistically out there.
Yeah, like it's
I mean,
incredible
you
the
know,
way it
it's
looks.
and normally good stylistic games do really well. I feel, or at least always become like sort of cult classics because there aren't that many out there that were produced, and I still think today it holds up great and looks amazing.
It does. It's
Amazing.
Yeah, it just looks really, really sharp. It just has this like really nice sort of blend of like, it sort of has realistic objects, but then the color palette is so extreme, and like the edges are sort of softened in a way, so it has this almost cartoony look to it, which means that it still looks amazing today, compared to even its sequel, which by the way you have to stop me from saying anything about Mirror's Edge 2 because otherwise
I haven't played it. You said a bit about it, and
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Mirror's Edge was one of my favorite games of that generation.
yeah
But Mirror's Edge 2.
yeah
Oh, which I mean, okay, I'll stop myself because we'll do a Mirror's Edge 2.
yeah, I
sometime.
really, really, really want to do a Mirror's Edge 2 podcast. So if I start comparing Mirror's Edge to Mirror's Edge 2 at any point, just tell me to be quiet.
We'll stop. I mean, I nearly did it there.
Yeah.
But it's just and we were talking about how it never really got off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
This game, which is just so sad to me, because this game was like one of my key defining thoughts when I think of Mirror's Edge is like going into Kex, like secondhand electricals, and it always, regardless of what was there, being the cheapest on the shelf.
Yeah, it is always the cheapest.
Oh, and same on Amazon. Like you go into, like soon after it came out, and it'd already be like 25 quid, and you'd be like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And then like a year later, it was like 15 quid on the shelf, and then like 2 years later, it's like £6 on the shelf.
Yep. And it's the same with
and
the
I kept
sequel.
thinking like, wow, look how low it is. I wish I could buy it now and replay it, but
Yeah, I do. That's funny. That's funny that you mentioned that. I definitely noticed myself having when I see a game that I really, really like on a shelf that I've already played that's really cheap, I sometimes just have the urge to buy it again. Just like,
How
oh,
could you not?
that's such a good deal. It's like sometimes
£6?
sometimes even on like PSN at the moment you see, actually, I mean, it just came out on PlayStation Plus, which is crazy, but like Metal Gear Solid 5, which is a huge game. That game got put on sale like a bunch of times for like a tenner or less. And it's just like, or like The Witcher gets put on sale loads, and they're like huge, really great games. And so I see them, it's like, oh, I should buy that. It's like, no, I've played like hundreds of hours of those games already. So
I've got that.
I don't need to buy that. Yeah.
lol. I've always found that's so weird.
Yeah, it is. It's a real shame. I don't think I could really speak to what it is about it that like meant it didn't sell.
I mean, I guess I've never really thought about it either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's quite a niche market in terms of like people looking to buy games are normally looking for certain experiences, whether it's shooting, action adventure, sport.
Yeah, sure.
And I guess it sort of holds its own niche,
It's like
which maybe meant like no one actually went out looking to get it, being like, ooh, a whole thing about free running.
Yeah.
Not convinced.
It's like, to be honest, it's it's like the closest we have to a walking simulator. You know, like that genre is like something that was made up as a derogatory term to refer to games that are mostly about walking around and picking up objects to tell a story, and they don't like have much outside of that in terms of gameplay. And like Mirror's Edge like isn't a shooter though it has guns in it. You can shoot guns. Though that
And
feels
it's terrible though.
yeah,
It's-
and it looks odd when she picks. Like I was watching this guy play, and he just doesn't play like I do, and so he's like picking up guns and like killing people. He's like picking up like assault rifles, and it's just like that's not what that character does at all. She just runs around and gets out of there. But he's like he's like picking up a gun, stopping, aiming it, firing it, dropping it. It's like, yeah, what are you doing?
But I mean, at the same time, with like difficulty, it makes it easier to shoot them.
Oh, sure, it makes it way
Even
easier.
though like the handling of the weapon's terrible, which kind of makes sense, seeing as she's a free runner with us, with you assuming not much
Yeah.
training in shooting.
Well,
But that said,
I always just got the sense that the shooting was kind of in there because they felt like they had to put it in there. You know, like if you I was looking at, I didn't play this game because I didn't want to. I looked for it. I don't have my PS3 with me, and I thought it was on PlayStation Now, this sort of streaming service on PS4, and it wasn't. But I was looking for it, and then the marketing, the first screenshot they show is of her holding a gun, firing at a helicopter, which is not something you ever do really in the game. So I get the sense that like that shooting stuff was kind of in there because they needed to sort of sell it as a shooter to most people.
yeah.
Because the idea of like a free running simulator game is like a weird niche.
Exactly.
But it works. It works so well.
It plays really great. The controls are super simple. You've got an upward motion and downward motion, and like the way you can chain it all together, and it just feels great. Was great. Super fun.
Yeah.
And also, you know what? Like, just I loved, weirdly enough. It had so many little things I loved. One of them was the loading animations.
The loading animations are bad.
I know, and this is one thing I want to bring up, which is, and I guess it kind of goes hand in hand with not noticing standard definition to HD change. Is like as you grow up, how these things that you think are really good, you grow to learn are terrible.
Yeah.
So, like, I thought those loading animations were the slickest, coolest thing in the world. And then when we replay it, like, you see just how terrible they are in terms of, like, physics and, like, the icy floor one.
Oh, yeah, that's a
where
good
she,
one.
like, chucks a guy over her shoulder and he, like, slides and then, like, bounces off a surface and, like, slides back.
Yeah. But, I remember watching some of those with you, like, sitting through those load screens with you. And just like it does that classic like video game thing of like once the character has been attacked, he just kind of stops resisting. His entire body kind of turns off, like turns to mush.
Full rag.
He just kind of like he like dies the instant he's touched, and then he just kind of flops.
And slides around.
And then slides a
floor.
couple of inches after he falls over. Yeah, that stuff's good. I mean, speaking of like animations and stuff, the part of this game that is the most jarring is still the cutscenes for me. The cutscenes look like an insurance advertisement. Like they're like this like this sort of flash animations. They're not like technically bad. They're just I mean they're not technically good either, but like then they're fine. And there's some like they do some like interesting stuff with the faces, but like for the most part it just looks like super duper naff. Yeah, it does. It reminds me of like, whenever I've seen like terrible car insurance ads and they have like a really naff sort of animation going on in the background, and it's kind of like, because it adopts the sort of color palette of the main game, which is cool when it's in 3D, but when it's in 2D, it just looks really bland.
The 2D's bad. It's very like comic-y.
Yeah.
Removes you quite a lot from the whole thing.
Yeah, it's odd to go from a game that is so interested in being like in first
real
person.
world.
Yeah, like being sort of like that sort of physicality. You can see your arms and your legs as you're running, and you can hear her breath and all that stuff. And then it like fades out and cuts to the sort of weird, go compare ad. You know, it's a little jarring, and also the story is pretty iffy as well, but it doesn't really matter. It's just like, why is this really even here sort of story.
Maybe we should do like a quiz in some of these podcasts, Louis.
A quiz?
We quiz each other on like Mirror's Edge knowledge.
That would mean having to think of questions, Lockie.
What is Faith's sister called? big part of the story.
I literally just watched this. It's probably like, oh god, is it like Jess? Oh, what is it? You don't know?
I do.
Oh.
You want to know?
Yeah.
Kate.
Yeah, so it's just a name.
Yeah.
What is the what is the guy? Oh, this is going to be the same question. I'm so sorry. What is the guy who speaks to you in your ear called?
Is it like Merc?
Yeah, it is.
Must say Mercury?
It's Merc. It's Merc.
Merc.
It's Merc. It's Merc.
Hate Merc.
Merc.
Merc, they're all over me.
Yeah,
Get out of there, Faith.
I wish she was like a silent protagonist. Like
No, I don't. I don't like
Gordon
silent
Freeman.
protagonists.
I don't know, man.
They always annoy me. Just give them a voice. If they've gone through enough to like make a whole character around them, and you should see them loads. I want to hear them talk. I hate silent protagonists.
But she's so like whiny and like she's very anti-establishment. She's very anti-establishment.
Yeah, but if you'd lived the life she had living, maybe you would be too.
I mean,
Bear that in
like, so there's
mind.
this, when she's talking to her sister Kate, in one of the early, it's actually just like it's just a first person cutscene. It stays in world, whatever. She sees her and like some guy gets shot, whatever, and Kate says, "Don't you watch the news?" And then Faith says, like, "Huh, I don't watch the news. It's more like advertising." And it's like, oh, okay, Faith,
Good
you
one.
get out of here.
Good one, Faith.
Get out of here.
Nice. Oh, I've got a good one for you. What was the name of the other free runner at the start of the game that helps you through basic training?
Elena? What is it?
Celeste.
Okay, so it's another word that I don't know off the top of my head.
Celeste will take the bag from there.
Yes, she turns bad.
You're making good time, Faith. And that's a good point, actually. This is the first game that I think got me thinking about speed running before I even knew that speed running was really like a whole thing.
You tried it, right?
But the thing is, like, it's such a, and I'm not particularly good at games anyway,
Okay.
but like technically good. But I've got probably like 10 hours of speed running, but it takes like 100 hours to even like begin being okay at speed running this game.
Have you got any of the like manipulative tricks going on?
I mean, it's all about the double jump,
Okay.
the edge jump, which is kind of hard. And like I've practiced it loads, but like I can never get it perfect. I've done like a few times where you link like 3 together, but to do it in the actual game is hard as nails.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't think I have the patience for it really with Mirror's Edge, though it does make a lot of sense. Like it's very natural, like evolution. Because the game.
Do you remember when?
Sorry,
when
go
was
on.
it as well? I think it was when you were in Kingston. Oh, it might have actually been when you just moved to Brighton.
Yeah.
We just played Mirror's Edge,
Yeah, that was after I moved to Brighton. I remember.
and we just took turns doing that first prologue level,
Yep.
seeing who could do it quicker.
Yep.
That was fun.
That was fun. I mean, that's the best level anyway.
That
so-
prologue, it's like 2 minutes to run,
Yeah.
and it's the most fun anyone could ask for.
Yeah, I mean, watching this guy play through, he played like fine or whatever, but it does feel like the levels do kind of steadily get less enjoyable. Do you get that sense? I mean, I know it has been a while since you played through it, but like,
I think it becomes less about the running, and it becomes harder.
it becomes harder and it becomes like more. Yeah, it becomes more gimmicky. There's like,
There are more enemies trying to shoot you.
there are more
Which
enemies,
isn't
or you're
fun.
like waiting for certain things to like appear, and for you to, like, it becomes slightly more puzzly, in an attempt to sort of mix it up. But I feel like the game is so short that it would have just been better if they'd focused on what made like that first level so good. which is just kind of that first level is crazy because that first level is so tiny. Like I'm running through it in my head just now, and it's like it's very short. As you said, it's like 2 minutes long.
It is.
And yeah,
It's nothing.
But
we did it quicker than that.
It feels very open and sort of free runner-y. Whereas a lot of the other levels start to become quite like heavy and like underground and gimmicky and people shooting at you a lot, and it bums me out that there wasn't maybe a bit more of how the first level was. But I can't quite put into words exactly what it was that made that first level so good.
Yeah, dude, the prologue was magic.
Prologue was magic.
Pure magic in the best of ways.
Yeah. Man, I think that it's like they made a lot of really good decisions. But that idea of making the runner vision thing is like so crazy majestic that you would build an entire art style around telling the player where to go. So,
and it works as well because it like really immerses you in the world with everything not being like guided arrows floating in the screen.
Yeah.
But just objects in the world being red.
It's nuts. Yeah, so like we haven't described Mirror's Edge at all because people know what Mirror's Edge is, but like if you don't know what it is, basically most of the world is made up of white, sort of just whites and.
Or it's just block colors. I mean, there's
a lot of block colors. Yeah.
Like when you're inside, there'll be most of the exterior is white,
and then there's
when you get in, you'll get like buildings that are
stuff.
green or red or blue, just
yellows even. But yeah, so most of it's like pretty plain. What is going on?
Yeah, just a loud bike.
And then it basically just highlights objects the color red for objects you can sort of use, interact with, so like jump over or run along or blah 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 blah, pipes that you can climb up. And it just, because it makes it just so visually appealing and because it's so simple, you never feel like the game is forcing you in that direction. It's just kind of showing it to you. And it's really, really cool. Like the whole art style is just built around that one idea.
It's great.
It's amazing.
It's just so great. I've got so many fond memories. The music as well. Mm-hmm. Like all the sound in this game is pretty great.
Yeah, DICE does pretty great sound design in general. The developers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That foot that lands.
Yeah.
And reveals Faith's toad shoes foot that lands and leaves the inky DICE mark.
Yeah.
Logo.
Yeah. Does it show DICE or does it show EA?
It goes doom, and then it brings up DICE, and then that disappears, and then it goes EA.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a great game, and I wish we could have seen more of Mirror's Edge 1. I don't really know what it is about that game that just made it not particularly successful. But looking at like the sort of marketplace, there just like isn't any really other game like it in so many ways till today. And like they just don't make games like that are that much of a sort of a change from the norm in like that huge big
what can you
developer
think
space.
of like other games that AAA at least that really, I mean, and a lot of those early AAA games that did sort of break the mold were great, and I'm thinking of Little Big Planet.
But like even that, like that's like stooped in like but like that idea makes a lot of sense. Like it's a 3D platformer, you know, like it's a 2D platformer,
yeah,
you know.
True. A lot of history there. Is
Whereas
there anything?
There just isn't. There just isn't like something that doesn't have that sort of predefined genre that it can just can't slide into even. And like you see that stuff in like indie games more and more, but like big games, you just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, AAA just aren't willing to take the risk.
Yeah.
Just pump out, something that the people know they like.
I mean, it's a miracle they made a second one, and it took them like 10 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
To like start it, I guess. Yeah. Nuts.
Tragic.
Good game.
Good game.
I love that guy.
Which guy?
Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, I love that guy too. Was there a Mirror's Edge? No, there wasn't.
There was a mobile game.
There was a mobile game. It was free for one of the 12 days of Christmas
Oh, nice.
on iTunes one time.
That mobile game made me miss my stop on the train, and then I missed my class at school.
Really?
Yep.
Was it good?
No, but I just wasn't really paying attention, and also maybe slightly didn't want to go to class anyway. So lucked out.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, good potty.
Yeah, man.
Much love to Mirror's Edge.
Yes.
Any developers from DICE want to get in touch,
Yes.
feel free.
What exactly what they'll say, I'm not sure.
We'd be honoured.
Yes.
Love you guys.
Well done on making a cool game.
Yes, very dear. Very dear to my heart.
Yeah, and I do definitely at some point want to do a Mirror's Edge Catalyst
Yeah, we'll do it soon.
one, because it's like so many things I want
Maybe,
to say. I've like had it bottled up in me forever, all this stuff, and it's tough because like I don't want to like do a podcast episode where we just rip the shit out of something. That sounds like a shitty episode. But also I really just need to talk to you about Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm ready.
Yeah, we'll do it soon.
I'm ready to hear.
Cool, man. So this podcast, if you didn't know, Lockie, did you know this? It goes up on SoundCloud and iTunes every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Every single Sunday.
Every Sunday for the last, 20-something weeks.
It's
That's pretty hot.
crazy. It is insane.
That's pretty hot.
No one else in the world does this.